care company, and possibly after that, the world's largest healthcare, because healthcare is broken. The current healthcare is not healthcare; it's sick care. It makes money on sickness, and Chris just talked about exactly that. Goki's vision was that since 2014, we invested in services, we invested in wearables, we invested in AI, we invested in a lot of tech, and COVID suddenly accelerated the adoption of Goki. In fact, the device which you are wearing, just 2 days back, we got approval from the Indian FDA, and we are now a certified medical device. So the data generated from our wearables is not only good for consumers, but this data can now be ingested into medical systems, because doctors and health professionals are definitely looking at this. We capture almost 25,000 data points a day. Of course, we are not claiming this to be as accurate as the real medical devices which doctors and medical professionals use. But today, given that an average person used to test their blood pressure once a year, that's the average. In fact, possibly it's even lower. Average Goki user checks their blood pressure 9 times a week. So bottom line is that data is what is required to transform healthcare. And this data was locked in healthcare systems, in hospitals and other places. And there were all these conflicts of interest in these business models. What we are doing is working from the consumer side, who wants to be healthy, and integrate the entire variable streams into insurance, into healthcare, and we are reimagining this entire business model. I'm really happy to see a lot of adoption happening. And I think one of the reasons why we had such massive adoption is because we never looked at healthcare like a patient or a sickness. In fact, that's where my gaming experience came in. Every Goki user is what we call a player or a khiladi, because you are playing a game of health, a game of life. And what you need to do is do various health activities and get rewarded, and use that to enrich yourself. So Goki actually, so when I sold India Games, I had a non-compete with Disney. I could not do gaming for 5 years. So I decided to invest my knowledge of gaming in a completely different field, which had to be disrupted, because doctors and the traditional model is just not able to do that, or just not able to cut it.
अभी
Coming back
अभी
to
गो की
what
पर बात
happened
करेंगे
now
थोड़ी देर में।
is I'm
होस्ट ने
back in
पूछा
the
था
world of
कि किस चीज़
gaming.
पे
as
बात
you
करने
as
वाले
you
हैं, तो
saw,
उन्होंने बोला है
I
कि दो
announced
चीज़ पे
my
बात करेंगे।
startup with
एक गो की
my
पर बात करेंगे, एक
colleagues
फौजी पर बात
and
करेंगे।
co-founders from
थोड़ा
Bangalore,
वेट करो यार,
nCore
अभी बताने
Games
वाले
in
हैं।
2019. Our first title, Fau-G, is under development. I know everybody wants to know when we are going to release it, but all I can say is that it's going to be very soon. We got the highest amount of pre-registrations within a matter of hours. We had over 1 million people who registered to download the game. Clearly, we are not trying to compete with PUBG or any other game, because we believe that what is lacking in gaming in India, and that's part of why I'm back, is because there is no real original IP. If you look at the top 50 titles on Google Android, except Ludo King, not even one title is Indian or made by Indian company. So the problem is that here, there are 9 billion or 7 billion game downloads which happened, and almost all of that is going to developers and titles out of India. And there is no reason why Indians should not be playing games based on Indian themes and storylines which we identify with. And that's exactly what we are trying to do with nCore Games. To give you a very interesting example here, look at Netflix, look at Amazon Prime. Their entire content is localized. The movies they are making, whether it is Sacred Games or Scam, the Scam show on Harshad Mehta, people are lapping up Indian content. But when it comes to gaming, I'm sorry to say, except Rummy and all these gambling and real money gaming, which I personally do not consider as gaming, they are at best, loosely called gambling. We are certainly not doing that. We are not in the business of gambling or real money gaming. What nCore and my team here is going to do is create entertainment which your kids, everybody can enjoy, and give people the experience of world-class gaming. And 4G is that. We also launched another title called Tappi, which is based on music. Once again, Indian music is having so much depth, but there was not a single game which was able to combine Indian music and gaming, and we did that, and that game has been received very well. And you will be seeing a lot more, right? I mean, gaming is not a business where you make one game and it becomes a hit. It's a business of hits and misses. You need to have a portfolio. We are launching several more games are in the pipeline. We are doing a cricket title. So I think, clearly from a gaming perspective, the approach needs to be very, very different, because today people are playing the best games in the world. That is the difference. So when you are playing any game made by nCore or any other Indian developer, you are going to compare it to the best games in the world. So the pressure is on developers. And this is not just true for gaming. I think in any category today, whether you are, Amazon, you're competing with Amazon on e-commerce, you're competing with Uber, you are competing with AWS, everything. So I think if you have to build product from India today, you cannot be the best in India. You have to be the best in the world. And that is why we are so focused on the quality. Of course, in the gaming business, there is this very interesting model which is called live ops. So what happens is, actually the game development starts not when you develop the game, is when you release the game. So what we really do is we release the game. Normally these games are released in small beta groups, and then we get the data and we keep adding characters and improvising them. But given that there is so much excitement around Fau-G, we may be possibly shortchanging that process, but let's see how that goes. But I really want to thank all the millions of gamers in India who are giving us a chance, and all other local gaming companies a chance. So whether it is esports, whether it is game development, I think there are several career opportunities, and then there are several opportunities for people to make as far as gaming is concerned. So I think there's going to be a lots happening 2021. I think we have just a few weeks more left in 2020, and hopefully with the vaccines coming up and everything else happening, I do believe while the virus will be going off, but the key lessons is improve your immunity, improve yourself. At the end of the day, your defense is not going to be dependent on medications and other things. I think people need to take their health on their own hands, because your true health is your true wealth. Today the entire disease has shown that in fact people who have been having all kinds of healthcare challenges, whether it is diabetes, heart, blood pressure, etc., have been certainly much more prone, and the mortality has been really high. So with that, I think it's really exciting to see the government with Fit India and everything else it's doing, the entire startup ecosystem, and even CII, encouraging startups to be Atmanirbhar, as we say. So thanks a lot, and let me know if I can answer any questions.
Awesome, Vishal. I think a lot of people want to ask questions. I have asked them to put it on chat, so you could probably stay back for another 5-10 more minutes, or if we're more than happy to have you for the entire evening. But you could just answer some of the questions which they have. They're all asking about Fau-G because they want to download and start playing immediately, I guess. So thanks a lot, and thank you for being here. And I move on to the next speaker. Now, next speaker is Aswani Chaitanya. Aswani is the CEO and co-founder of Timios, which is a startup which got kick-started when he was in search of healthy, age-appropriate snacks for its 2 boys. Very interesting product proposition. Aswani, I know your story a little bit because we chatted up earlier. But yeah, looking forward to hearing your story here.
Thanks, thanks, Sangeeta, thanks, CII. Really excited to be here because CII is one of the platforms where we can actually put some policy in place, discuss wonderful stuff, what we are doing, and make India great. I mean, so when you pinged me, I was like super excited to be a part of this. And look, I mean, Friday in Bangalore, we have more than 90 people on this forum understanding what each other is doing and how to crack the entrepreneur code is really exciting. So I will cover a bunch of stuff. I think Nigam played our Timios video in few minutes back. So I will cover a bit of my story, then what